And we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 11, and that would be the Chief Counsel report presented by Mr. Moon.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gaines, members of the board, Richard Moon, Chief Counsel. I'm here to provide a very brief report on the Q3 workload of the legal department. And as usual, we're working on a lot of reviews along with the County Assessed Properties Division on PRA requests and our usual technical advice that we're giving on a variety of property tax issues. But the thing that's taking up most of our time and that we're working on this quarter is appeals. And so most of our attorneys are full out working on those appeals in various capacities. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Okay, members, any questions? All right, how are we on staffing?
Staffing, we are currently hiring, still hiring 2 attorneys. We've gone through actually a number of rounds of interviews, and we've extended offers, but none have accepted for various reasons. So we are still out there looking.
Okay.
So hopefully soon.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move on to item 12, Taxpayer Rights Advocate Office report presented by Ms. Hendrickson. Hello.
Good afternoon, Chair Gaines, honorable board members. My name is Amy Hendrickson, Senior Specialist Property Appraiser. I am pleased to provide statistics on the number of taxpayer cases completed by the Taxpayers Rights Advocate Office last month. As far as total case number of completed cases for September 2025, we completed 23 cases. 10 were in Chairman Gaines' District, District 1. 5 were in Vice Chair Lieber's District, District 2. 3 were in Board Member Vasquez District, District 3. And 5 were in Board Member Schaefer's District, District 4. Of the 23 cases, 18 were in the valuation category and 5 were in the administrative category. The memorandum attached to the public agenda notice identifies completed case counts by topic area for the valuation category and administration category. For the valuation category, there were 2 topics which had the largest number of completed cases, with 5 each: actual enrollment of values and change in ownership. With respect to the administrative category, the topic with the 2 highest number of completed cases was delinquent defaulted taxes, with 2. There were 3 exclusion cases. One pertained to the parent-child exclusion and 2 pertained to the base year value transfer for seniors. This concludes my update.
Wonderful. Members, any questions?
Great, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Now move on to item 13, Property Tax Deputy Director's Report. Mr. Young.
Thank you, Chairman Gaines. My name is David Young, Property Tax Deputy Director. For the record, for you today, I will have 4 reports. The first 2 will be by Ms. Lauren Keach. She will give you a report on letters to assessors that we published since the last meeting, an update on our training and certification program. Next, it will be followed by a report by Ms. Holly Cooper. She will update you on our assessment practices survey division and what we've done since we last met. And lastly, I will return to give you an update as to what's been going on in the State Assessed Properties Division. So if you're ready, I'll go ahead and have Ms. Keach start.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gaines and honorable board members. I'm Lauren Keach, Chief of the County Assessed Properties Division. Today I'll provide a brief report on letters to assessors. Attached to this month's agenda is a memo on letters to assessors, which provides a list of the LTAs issued since the report at the last board meeting, and a link to the BOE's website where a list of all LTAs to date can be found. As of the date of the attached memo, the agency has issued a total of 35 LTAs for the calendar year 2025 and 6 since the report at the last board meeting. Those will be listed as followed. An LTA to publish the historical property interest component for the 2026 lien date. An LTA from the Taxpayers' Rights Advocates Office to announce an information sheet on property tax savings for nonprofit organization exemptions. 3 LTAs to publish the 2026-2027 income levels for the tribal housing exemption, for leased property used exclusively for low-income rental housing, and for the welfare exemption. And lastly, an LTA to issue the open space land interest component for the 2026 lien date. This concludes my reports on letters to assessors. I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Members, any questions? Yeah, Member Vasquez.
Ms. Keats, I noticed in the calculations here for the tribal housing exemption, I didn't realize, are these folks, when they're building, is this for those that are building homes outside of the reservation?
Your question is if these are for homes outside?
There was an LTA, I guess, on this,
Yes.
for tribal housing exemption.
I am not privy to the exact location of where these exemptions are being claimed. I could potentially look into that for you and get back with that information.
Appreciate it, yeah, because I thought
Okay.
they were exempt if it's on the reservation, but I could be wrong,
Yeah, I think you're
right? Because isn't it a sovereign? But I'm wondering, they might be doing some housing outside of the
Okay,
reservation.
That's a good question.
Yes, you are correct. Typically, what is built on reservation land by Native Americans are exempt, but this is for tribes that actually own affordable housing outside. So they actually fit within a component of affordable housing. They may not necessarily be on tribal land.
And because it's a tribe, do they have nonprofit status?
There's a special provision for recognizing tribes. I
So they
think-
would qualify under that for the exemption?
Yeah, it's under a different section of 214. It's not 214G, so, yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, then if there are no other questions, I'll move on to my next report on the BOE's appraisal training and certification program. For the 2025-26 fiscal year, BOE staff scheduled 40 classes and 2 webinars. In addition, 7 classes have been scheduled with instructors in the county assessor's offices for their staff. For courses taught by the BOE, 12 have been completed since the beginning of the fiscal year, and 4 since the last board meeting. For courses taught by the counties, 2 have been completed since the beginning of the fiscal year. And as always, we continue to offer our existing online basic training courses available through American River College and California State University, Sacramento, as well as our online courses and self-study training sessions that are available on the BOE's website. This concludes my report on training and certification. I'm available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Questions? None? Oh, okay, we're
Yes.
good. Yeah,
No, I'm good.
Okay,
good.
Thank you.
thank you then.
Thank you, Ms. Keach.
I believe I'll
Oh, I
pass
think
it
you
to.
had a question at that end.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
question? Yes.
Member
Mr.
Schaefer.
On the agenda item here, you have some statements in blue type and some in black type. Is there any significance or is that just?
The
Mr.
blue type
Schaefer?
indicates a hyperlink, meaning that there is a memo attached. So the letters to assessors would be in blue type, so you can right-click on that and open the memo. Otherwise, the black is just regular text. Okay,
Great,
thank you.
Thank
Shall I
you.
pass it then to Ms. Cooper?
wonderful.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gaines and honorable members of the board. I'm Holly Cooper, Chief of the Assessment Practices Survey Division. Today, I will be presenting an overview of the final survey reports published during the third quarter of 2025. However, before I get started, I would like to provide a brief background on the programs administered by the Assessment Practices Survey Division. In terms of current auditing practices, what we refer to at BOE as an assessment practice survey is actually an audit of the county assessors to determine whether property value assessments follow property tax law. The auditors and appraisers in the Assessment Practices Survey Division perform qualitative compliance audits of the assessor's procedures and practices and perform quantitative audits through the use of defensible statistical sampling of representative assessments from the property tax rolls. During the third quarter of 2025, the division issued 2 audit reports via letters to assessors in Kern and Alpine counties. Kern County received a supplemental audit survey, which is a review of the recommendations noted in the county's prior audit report to determine whether the assessor has implemented BOE's recommendations. We reviewed a total of 10 prior recommendations. 6 of the 10 were properly implemented or not repeated. However, we noted 4 recommendations that have not yet been fully implemented by the assessor. They are the following. We found instances where the assessor is not applying late filing provisions for the welfare exemption claim forms that are not filed timely. We found several instances where the assessor did not apply a penalty when a legal entity failed to file or failed to file timely a BOE 100B, even though the assessor had been notified by the BOE's LEOP section that the penalty applied. We found examples where the assessor determined that the new construction being added was of insignificant value and therefore did not add value for the new construction, even though the new construction was considered to be accessible. And lastly, the assessor did not meet the minimum number of audits required by Section 469 for the 4-year fiscal period of 2019-20 through 2022-23. Moving on to Alpine County, we conducted a compliance audit, which includes a review of the assessor's administration, real property and business property practices and procedures for roll year 23-24. In the areas of administration and real property, we're happy to report that no recommendations were made. In the area of personal property and fixtures, we made the following 3 recommendations. Perform the minimum number of audits of professions, trades, and businesses pursuant to Section 469. Consistently apply a penalty assessment to all business property accounts that fail to file a business property statement in accordance with Section 463, and support any divergence from the board recommended use of price indexes and percent good factors published in Assessor's Handbook Section 581 with market evidence. In summary, for all reports published during the third quarter, the BOE found no significant assessment problems as defined in Rule 371. Therefore, the assessors are eligible to receive reimbursement of costs associated with administering supplemental assessments. This concludes my quarterly report, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Cooper, appreciate it.
Thank you again. So I will clean up with the last report for State Assessed Properties Division. So there's 3 things I wanted to update you on. The first thing is the staff has been working really hard finishing up their audits. The actual audit field work has been done. They're complete and they're under review right now. Audits will be brought before you that have a value change will be brought before the board for action. The second thing the State Assessed Properties is working on is our assessment appeals. It's been a heavy season. They've been working diligently on it with our legal partners, and we hope to get as many resolved and examined before it comes again before the board for action. And lastly, I wanted to update you on the private railroad car, our administration of that tax. Bills have been, as you well know, you adopted the value 2 months ago, and the bills have been sent out by the October 15th deadline. It was actually sent a couple of days before that. So it's already in process. Once again, to remind you, that's about $12 million in taxes from the PRC program that will go back into the general fund. And I do want to mention one more thing. Miss Catherine Taylor mentioned that SAPD has been working diligently on an update of our computer system. I wanted to, one, recognize all our partners that have been putting in a tremendous effort in that. CDTFA, we've been working with the California Department of Technology, and we've had many meetings with the Department of Finance. And also our staff, right now, we spent many, many hours going over our own work processes, documenting them, and getting ready for the beginning phase of that project. It's going to be a multi-year project. The investment is huge in it, in effort and time and expertise for the staff to get hopefully to a very, very successful outcome. But it's taken a whole lot of time up on our end. So with that, that should wrap up updates for SAPD. I do want to, I'm sorry, I have one more PS I kind of want to add. We had many discussions on handbooks and the current state of our handbooks. We have over 30 handbooks. Right now, we are actively working on 4 of them. We're working actively on 4 updates. We have continuously update 3 of them every single year. So for this year, we actually have 7 of our over 30 under active review and updating. As we go, that's pretty close to our carrying capacity. I mean, we are working on, we do realize some of them are a little dated. When they are dated and there are changes in law or court cases or whatnot, we actually go through our handbooks and we actually annotate them. We note where either a new case has set precedents or a law has changed, and we actually put a note in there. If you go through our handbooks, you may see some of them with the red note annotations on the side. And so we do that on a continual basis. When it comes to enough of a change in the handbook, then we initiate a formal review of the handbook, and that's usually through the IP process, the interested parties process, and a fast IP process is about 1.5 years. A fully vetted one that's contentious may take more than 2. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update as to what our guidance, our state of our guidance in our assessor's handbooks.
Excellent. That's
Okay.
interesting. If I could just make a comment to that, because Member Schaefer talked about updating earlier in our meeting, and it sounds like the cycle, at least on the workbooks, sounds like within a decade, you're updating
Yeah.
all those workbooks.
We try
Or more.
we try our very best. We actually review them informally every single year.
Yeah.
So at the end of the year, there's legislation that passed. We go through and see which one affects our handbooks. The court cases, there's a court case review at the end of the year. We also look to see if they said anything that may be different. And where we find them, either we issue guidance in the LTA, and then we annotate the handbooks and said, this section of it has been superseded by LTA. We give that number, and you can look for the guidance there. But it is a daunting task. We're very prolific. We have over 30 of these handbooks, and so they're always on a continuously reviewed cycle.
Excellent. That's great. Member Schaefer.
David, there's a number of large states, and they all have boards of equalization of some sort or another. They have 41 members over in Arizona, I just learned. Do they have handbooks out too? Do you ever peek at them? I would think you might say, hey, that's a good idea, and learn something.
I do, on an informal basis, do kind of take a little survey every once in a while and look at them. Some states have handbooks whether they're called handbooks, operational manuals, their guidance. I don't want to appear I'm patting myself on the back, but California in general actually kind of leads in the guidance that we give. We give it in so many forms in the actual handbooks and annotated letters of our chief counsel, in our LTAs. And we actually answer a whole lot of questions from a whole lot of folks, and sometimes they're from other states and other jurisdictions that will ask us questions. So yes, I do take a look at them. Sometimes they're very, very interesting.
Don't hesitate to pat yourself on the back. We enjoy that.
Okay,
It tells us we're doing a good job by hiring the right people.
of course. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you another question. Are these handbooks just for the in-house, or do you have a market? Do law firms that deal with this buy a copy? Do you send them out to the 100 law libraries or so?
Our handbooks, our LTAs, our annotation, they're all available on our website. They're posted. Anybody can go in and take a look at them. If anybody wants a hard copy, we have in the past sent it to them. But by and far, our biggest way of distributing them is through our own website.
We don't send them out free, do we? Is there a cost recovery?
I will have to check on that. I know if you sign up for our LTAs, they're free, and we only send it to you electronically. We do send copies of our surveys that we publish. There's a whole list of folks that get them, and we don't charge for that, but they're government folks.
No, I think it makes us all look good. I'm glad to see that. Thank you.
Of course.
All right, Deputy Controller Imran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Going back to your private railroad car tax, you said it's
Yes.
$12 million. And looking at the industry, there's just this huge merger between Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern.
Yeah.
And can you kind of explain how that affects the private railroad car tax?
It more affects those two as state assessees and the valuation of their property. Private railroad cars, they're typically, well, by definition, they're not owned by the actual railroads. All the railroads do is that they actually move them back and forth from location to location. So if you look at a train, be it Union Pacific or BNSF, many of their cars will be owned by them. They're transporting freight, but there may be other cars that are owned by a cement factory, somebody else transporting other finished goods. And so what is taxed, we tax to the state assessee, BNSF, all the cars they owned, but the cars that they don't own, that's what falls under the private railroad car tax. So it probably shouldn't have too much of an effect on it because they're not primarily their cars by definition. The railroad companies are just providing the traction, I guess, just moving them around.
Makes sense, thank you.
Of course.
Good question. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate that, Mr. Young.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, we're going to move to item 14, Special Taxes Quarterly Report by Ms. Williams.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Laurel Williams, the BOE's technical advisor for our special tax programs, which include the alcoholic beverage tax and tax and insurers programs. My regular report is, we'll start with the tax and insurers programs. The number of accounts has increased slightly since my last report, currently at 2,829 accounts. It's only an increase of, I think it was like 15 or 18 accounts, not a huge leap. According to the September 2025 Department of Finance Bulletin, revenues for this program in fiscal year 25-26 are at $937 million, which is approximately 12.4% or $103 million above the forecasted projections. And this program remains highly compliant. The next program is our alcoholic beverage tax. There are 10,751 accounts in this program, which has been actually consistent for almost over a year. And according to the September 2025 Department of Finance Bulletin's revenues for this program in fiscal year 25-26 are at just over $79 million right now, which is approximately $3 million or 3.9% above the forecasted amount. The opt-in, opt-out rates for the wine grower and beer manufacturer returns has also remained consistent since my last report at approximately 65% of opt-out and 57% respectively for the two programs. Again, this program is very compliant. While some of these revenues, I do want to put in this caveat, do seem to be a little bit off the, above the projections that DOF had, when you go back and compare the data from the same report, the September, but 1 year prior, the September 2024 report, you'll see it's quite similar. The tax on insurers program at that time was approximately 10% above the forecasted amounts, yet at the end of the fiscal year finished very close to projections. And same with the alcoholic beverage tax program, that finished right at the projection. Both of these programs have kind of cyclical as far as when they pay the returns and when the money comes in. So they kind of all catch up by the end of the fiscal year, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So with that, unless there are any questions, that would conclude my report for this quarter.
All right, questions? Yes, Member Schaefer.
Do you recall, while you've been with the board, that there's ever been a question of a liquor tax that we charge that comes up for review? That's part of our jurisdiction, and I've been here 7 years and I've never seen one.
Yes, so our tax, it's the alcoholic beverage tax, so it's a per gallon tax for the manufacturers, distributors, and importers. It's not something that is a restaurant or a mini mart usually would be paying. And there are occasionally, like there's a disputed audit or something of that nature that we try to resolve at the lowest level possible. I think regarding your question, they've been consistently resolved at lower levels before coming to an appeal before the board. Since I have been with what we'll call BOE 2.0, they have come before the board in the past.
Been before the board in the past?
And alcohol is very unique in that it's regulated by us, the state, it's federal, and there's also ABC and CDTFA all have different parts of regulating that industry. So there's lots of compliance checks and balances. So most of the reporting is pretty accurate. In fact, for instance, on our per gallon tax, if say a wine grower has a barrel of wine that got contaminated and goes bad, it actually has to be a supervised destruction. So it's pretty highly regulated.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You can't bottle it and sell it under the table.
I mean, if it's contaminated, I think that might not be in their best interest, but yeah.
How you define contamination? No. All right. Yeah.
Actually, I have a quick question.
Yes,
though.
please, yeah. Yes.
As you were mentioning, as you were talking about the condition, well, this doesn't get into the ABC conditions though, does it at all?
So there are in the licensing to, for instance, be able to be a distributor, they have to have a ABC license and a sales tax with so ABC, CDTFA has to have, and then they also have to have an account with us. So they are kind of linked in that if they go called delinquent with one, the others tend to be notified, which is part of that really good. And then there's also a federal one too. So they are kind of, to get their ABC license, they have to show that they have licensing with us.
Got to be in good status with all three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the only reason I bring it up is that I had a small business in my district that came up, and had some issue, well, they had a condition that was unreasonable, and they were asking me, what I could do, and I said, I don't think it falls under our preview. That's strictly ABC, right? It's not,
Yeah, that's correct. ABC is the agency that's responsible for making sure, like at a restaurant or somebody's checking IDs, they do those, that type of compliance, which is not at all related to us, other than that we make sure that they have to be in good standing.
well, this one happens to be, it would happen to be around noise levels or some condition they had on it. So that's something they strictly goes
Completely unrelated.
through ABC, right?
Yeah.
Who's heading that up now these days? Do you know?
I believe that it's a GovOps.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right, we're going to move to item 15, Legislative Research and Statistics Division Chief's Report by Mr. Ted Angelo.
Good afternoon, Chairman Gaines and members. The legislature has finished its work for the year, and the governor had until the 13th to take action of October on legislation. I've summarized all of these things for you in my weekly updates, so there will be no more coming unless there's legislation of significance that you need to know about heading into next year. As I've noted before, all the bills dealing with disaster relief, mostly in the LA area from the January disasters, was signed by the governor. AB 245 by Assemblymember Gibson, SB 293 by Senator Perez, and SB 663 by Senator Allen, Senator McNerney, and Senator Perez as joint authors. The others I've highlighted before. Those again, I've discussed exactly what they do, so I'm not going to go into them today. So just briefly stating, those are all in effect, and I noted will become effective January 1. And I noted in my message that the governor signed other legislation related to disaster relief, and I noted a lot of the bills in that note to you. I won't go through them today because they're not within our purview, but one of them in particular, which is very closely related, is mortgage forbearance that allows people that were harmed by losing their business and income capabilities from the fires to have up to 12 months of mortgage forbearance in 3-month increments. So it helps those that were severely impacted. That's it for the legislative update. My staff is continuing to work in the survey areas for the counties that they survey to get information, and also on the rail that Mr. Young was talking about. There's an annual survey that we send out, the sales ratio study, where in order to equalize the assessment of rail transportation properties, Section 1817 of the Revenue Tax Code requires BOE to annually determine the statewide and county-by-county ratio that we've talked about in earlier meetings today, this year, the assessed value to fair market value of locally assessed commercial and industrial real properties in California through the sales assessment ratio studies of transferred commercial in order to apply it to rail-owned property. So that they're going through that process right now. That's an annual process. I don't speak to those things too much because I'm usually talking about legislation, but my staff and the research data specialists there are working on those things and getting those out to the county assessors. The only other thing I'll note, and I know I have to be careful here from a legal standpoint, is the question that came through about that we started the meeting with. I was looking up the bill about the fire safety that somebody sent written comments in. It has nothing to do with property tax, and there's other entities that deal with zoning and those types of requirements, and that bill was from like 4 years ago. It was AB 3074, fire prevention, wildfire risk, defensible space, ember-resistant zones. So I just wanted you all to know what that was about. I can't really go into it because it doesn't really deal with the revenue tax codes or anything to do with property tax, but I just wanted you to know what that was about. So I'll leave it there. If you have any questions about any of those bills that I've referenced or anything coming up next year, I could try to answer it now.
First, thanks a lot for your update, Mr. Angelo. And I know this year we're constantly hammering you real hard on keeping track and tracking a lot of these bills. And I guess it's more for the viewing audience. Can you kind of walk us through what's the process for these two-year bills? Because I know they're starting up again in '26, I understand, right?
Yes. So I've noted in previous board meetings that it's a little nebulous. The way I've always looked at it in my 30-plus years of chasing the legislature, a bill's never gone. And I know nobody likes to say the word dead, but a bill's never dead, even, because it can always be reintroduced. So in the second year of a two-year session, if a bill was held in committee and it doesn't have a rule waiver, then the bill's not going to be taken up. But they can always get a rule waiver in certain circumstances. But bills that were marked as two-year bills if they're in their first house, they have to be out early, like by the end of January. And if they've moved over to the second house, they have a later deadline. So there are a number of bills that I'm not 100% on the list that I've put forward, whether they were held in committee and did not get a rule waiver or if they're actually two-year bills. They were doing something kind of hinky this year in the Appropriations Committee where they weren't quite saying, like on the Senate side, they weren't bringing up those that were held, and others, they were saying they're two-year bills. So long answer, without absolution is what I'm giving you right now, but there will be updates from once they reconvene in January that I'll be able to let you know which ones are moving and which ones aren't.
Earlier we heard, actually, I guess it was when we first opened the meeting with public comment, people were asking about these hardening bills and some of these other bills. You kind of touched on them. I was wondering, I think was it AB 389? Was a Wallace bill, I think it was something like that?
For which area?
Which would give an income tax deduction for qualified expenses for those that did, it was supposed to be, I guess, for home hardening, as there are people on the rebuild side.
Yes.
Now, is that still, well, you mentioned none of these bills are dead, so I'm assuming it's out there still.
Yeah, there are home hardening legislation. I don't have the list of those that don't impact us, like to reference here with me today, so I can get back to you on anything.
Sure.
And you could always reach out to Ms. Stowers and we can look into any of those, but I don't have the specifics on those exactly right now. But I know that they're considering home hardening proposals, not only on the tax side of income tax and the insurance side, but also on the property tax side. But there isn't a bill right now in the active two-year session dealing with property tax and home hardening credits.
Now, are any of those, especially the hardening bills, they would have possibly some property tax implications or no?
Not right now, they don't.
Not right now?
Not right now, they don't, but there are rumblings that they want to do something for home hardening on the property tax side.
That's what I was saying, okay.
Yeah.
So you'll let us know when that
Yes.
happens. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Member Schaefer?
Yes, Ted, you note any legislators that are really into the Bagley-Keene Act? I see there's a SB 470 by John Laird. I want to contact somebody who understands the Bagley-Keene Act because I have a few issues I want to be enlightened on. I see Laird as one of them. Anyone
Yes.
else that is Bagley-Keene to your mind?
I know that Senator Laird, who is from the Santa Cruz area, good guy. He's carried the last two bills that have pushed the 5-year extension of the Bagley-Keene requirements. and those that have the disclosure that has to be read for the controller today, those types of things. So it's a sunset date extension is the one that happened today. So Mr. Laird's office or somebody on his staff would probably be able to assist you with.
That's good. You know, I just picked up the phone and called Senator Bagley, Assemblyman Bagley, to talk to him. He since expired, but I don't have that privilege anymore, so.
Yes.
I'm happy to have this contact. And we refer to my deputy, Cody Peterson, as Dr. Peterson. He has a doctorate in anthropology. Next time you do a carbon copy, if you'd give him an upgrade, I'd appreciate it.
We'll work on it.
Thank you.
I got one, Ted.
Oh, yeah, great. We've got a question here from Deputy Controller.
Thank you. Just really quickly, October 13th was the last day for the governor to sign. Do we know how many he signed and how many he vetoed total?
I could get that for you. I don't have the statistics, but there were a lot of them.
Over under 1,000, I assume, 1,500?
Yeah, I don't want to venture a guess because I don't have them. I don't have the numbers with me. And had I known you were contemplating that, I would have brought the statistics with me.
You could email me, no problem. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, public comments. No written comments, and I don't believe anybody's in the audience. Okay, so AT&T moderator, please let us know if anybody is on the phone line and would like to speak to item 15 on the agenda.
If you have a comment, please press star or 1 then 0. 1 then 0 if you'd like to make a comment. And at this time, there are no comments.
Great, thank you, moderator. We'll go ahead and move the last item of the day, and that is closing remarks, and then we will recess for another meeting tomorrow. Member Vasquez, you have some closing comments.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to adjourn, if we could, this meeting in memory of several talented individuals who left us behind legacies of great achievements. 2 in the field of film and music, Diane Keaton. You know, I had the opportunity to meet her several times in Santa Monica. Didn't know she was that ill. And then when I heard about it, that was devastating. And then, of course, you know, some people say he was probably the best R&B singer, especially in modern time, is D'Angelo, this young man. And one in the field of higher education out of UCLA, Kent Wong. I don't know if anybody had a chance to meet him. He was an exceptional professor there in the School of Labor there on campus. Diane Keaton, the Oscar-winning star of Annie Hall, Father of the Bride, Sometimes Gotta Give, and many films, died of pneumonia in Los Angeles, October 11th, 2025, at the age of 79. Her 5-decade career began on stage acting in some original Broadway productions before she went on to play roles in dozens of dramatic and comedic films and television shows. She was recognized with numerous accolades, including an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, and 2 Golden Globe Awards, and nominations for 3 more Academy Awards, 2 Emmys, 9 Golden Globes, and a Tony Award. She was a director of films, television shows, and music video, and an author of 5 books and an editor of 6. She is survived by her children, Duke and Dexter Keaton. I also want to remember, in remembering of the Grammy-winning artist D'Angelo, born Michael Eugene Archer, best known for ushering in the neo-soul movement with his 1995 debut album, Brown Sugar. Drawing influence from gospel, funk, and jazz, he died of cancer on October 14, 2025, at the age of 51. D'Angelo won his first Grammy for untitled How Does It Feel from the album Voodoo in 2000, which also won the Grammy for Best R&B Album. After his success, he struggled with depression, addiction, leading to a 14 year hiatus before his next album was released in 2014 called Black Messiah. Album that earned him another Grammy and was hailed as a modern masterpiece. He was named as one of the greatest R&B artists of 2015, and he ranks 75th on the Rolling Stones list of 200 greatest singers of all time. He is survived by his children, Michael, Amani, and Morocco. Finally, I want to remember in honor of Kent Wong, the former director of the UCLA Labor Center from 1991 to 2023, who died of, it says, cardiopulmonary failure and complications from it on October 8th, 2025, at the age of 69. Wong was a UCLA professor of labor and Asian American studies and a prominent labor leader known for his work with immigrant and Asian American workers. Wong was the key founder of the university's undergraduate labor studies program, teaching thousands of students over 3 decades, and was instrumental in establishing the first Dream Resource Center for undocumented youth in California and the Dream Summer Fellowship Program. He is survived by his wife, Ali, and 2 sons, Ryan and Robin. May he rest in peace. And then we had actually one of our activists in Santa Monica, former elected official, Buria Finkel, lost her daughter, Melva, and she went by Coulter. She was a young artist, actually an educator too, did some work out of UCLA, lost her battle with cancer as well at a young age. She was, I believe she had just celebrated her 65th birthday just recently.
So we'll adjourn in memory.
Thank you. With that, we'll turn it back over to the chair.
Wonderful.
Oh, you know what? And here I am, didn't write it down, but I'd be remiss, and I won't be able to go home if I don't mention this one is my wife lost her mom, who was with us. She just made it to her 95th birthday.
Wow.
We were able to celebrate it on Friday, and then Saturday morning, she just gave away. She had been in hospice for 5 years. They sent her to one of these homes, and we went to visit it, even in Santa Monica, and I said, no, we got to take her home. Brought her home. She survived 5 years. I thought she was going to hit the 100 mark. She was just doing so fine.
Amazing.
But then things just started shutting down.
Wow.
So we just
the
lost
next
her.
day after her birthday.
A day after.
Isn't that
We were able to
remarkable?
celebrate it on Friday
Yeah.
and Saturday morning, and that was it.
Well, that's a good run, 95
I think it's a
years.
good, I hope I live to be 95.
And she was good mentally and physically up to that age, or?
The last 3 years, it was kind of hard to have a conversation. I think she could hear you.
Yeah.
Once in a while, she would shout out something at you.
Yeah.
But you really couldn't have much of a conversation with her. But she was the life of the party when she was up and running.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll adjourn in her memory, too.
yes.
And Deputy Controller Imran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for day one of a great, great meeting. I did want to give an in memoriam to an NFL running back, Doug Martin. He died at the age of 36. He was born in Oakland, California, grew up in Stockton. And I just remember growing up watching him play at Boise State, and became a top 50 player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of all time. And he amassed over 5,000 yards in his career, 30 touchdowns. But unfortunately, after his career and his retirement, he went through some severe mental health issues. And it's one of the most infamous sports in the whole world, and especially here in America, is football. But we definitely need more treatment, more medical research on what CTE is, and having folks that are coming and playing this gladiator type sport to really seek the help they need. And it's a sport that I love to watch myself as well, but we definitely have to take care of those that have played, and our youth, teaching them how to properly play the game too. It's very, very sad to see at such a young age and such a illustrious career, because you have your NFL life, and then after your retirement, it's almost like you're starting a second life. And he had a whole world in front of him. So my thoughts and prayers are with an Oakland legend. Rest in peace, Doug Martin.
All right, we'll adjourn in his memory, too. Member Schaefer?
Thank you, Chair Gaines. I missed my opening comments by being tardy today. I apologize. We had a little fog in San Diego and it resulted in half an hour delay. We just opened a huge airport. I've never seen anything so big at the new terminal in San Diego. It's at least twice the size and everything is brand new. And we have a brand new plane that has places to charge your cell phone. And it was really quite an experience. I think it just opened this last week in San Diego, and all the new vendors are there too, and it's exciting. I want to tell you, it wouldn't be a meeting without a couple of birthdays. Today is Netanyahu's 76th birthday, and he's certainly a world figure and is making progress. Judge Judy Scheinbaum, who is the most famous judge, even more famous, I think, than you can't name a Supreme Court judge, but you can name Judy. She's 83. I've heard her notice of her death a few times. I don't know why people dream that up, but she's in good health because she's still in the air. And then Carrie Fisher was a personal friend of mine because I represented Debbie Reynolds, her mother, on some things. Carrie is gone, but she'd be 69 if she's still with us. I want to have something that relates to San Diego County, as my colleague does for Los Angeles County. We have the most bizarre thing in San Diego this last week, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States Navy and of the Marine Corps. They decided to have replicas of battles at Camp Pendleton, going from the seashore where you had 9 ships standing by, you had the Navy SEALs entering an attack, you had live weapons firing 155 millimeter shells across I-5. You had Vice President Vance and 15,000 other people in uniform, a lot of them, and it was really bizarre. And our president just arranged all this without telling anybody, and praise be to God, our great governor, on the Friday before, they were having a test at night and firing this live munitions, saying it was safe, and Gavin decided it wasn't safe to have high-speed traffic with live munitions going across, so he closed it for a full hour when the procedure took place. It made everybo's trip from LA to San Diego and back 3 hours instead of 2 hours. Everybody decided to go over to 15, either coming into Pendleton or leaving Pendleton. So 15 was running at least an hour late for everybody. But I am just astounded to see the amount of battle we had. In fact, some of the weapons prematurely exploded in the sky and fell upon a CHP car and damaged that. That's the front page of the Los Angeles Times this morning. So we've had a reenactment of World War II going on at Camp Pendleton this week, and I don't think it's the smartest thing to do, but I'm glad that our governor closed it, because none of us want to be at 60, 70, 80 miles an hour and not knowing what's going to happen to all that weapon going overhead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think we are ready to now go to recess, and we will return tomorrow. That's Wednesday, October 22nd at 10 a.m. right here at the Naley State Office Complex in Sacramento. So look forward to that, and we'll see you all tomorrow.